The title of this video is true. This is genuinely the best guitar I've ever played. So this is my latest and greatest in guitar purchases. If you're a regular viewer of my channel, you will have seen that I used it in my recent cover of Acquiesce by Oasis. It was one of the main rhythm guitars in that recording. I bought it about 6 weeks ago from Peach Guitars in Colchester, and I'll go a bit more into that story in a little bit. But essentially, it's a 1959 reissue custom shop Les Paul Standard. It's absolutely stunning, it fits my hand incredibly well, it plays like a dream. I really can't say enough good things about it, and I've just knocked it against my desk. Natural relicking. It has all of the specs that you would expect from a 1959 Les Paul, or Les Paul if you're American. And one of the main reasons I think it sounds so fantastic is it's got the Gibson custom buck pickups in it. I think these only come in Gibson custom shop guitars, and they're like Gibson's recreation of the PAF. Until fairly recently, this was the best guitar I'd ever played. This is my other custom shop guitar. I feel very privileged to now own 2 of these. But this is a 1964 reissue VOS Custom Shop 335. I bought this at some point last year, I think, and I've had it for a while now, and it's been my main guitar for pretty much all of my YouTube videos, as you will have seen if you watch many of my videos. They're pretty close, and they have the same pickups, so they sound quite similar, but I think overall, maybe it's partly sentimental value, but the Les Paul just seems to slightly pull ahead now in terms of which one I prefer. So, on the day that I ended up buying this guitar, I went down to Peach Guitars in Colchester, which is actually quite near where I grew up. My friend Harry came with me. He's actually been in a couple of my videos, so if you've seen the Nirvana or Green Day covers I've done on my channel, that's who he is. I didn't realise this at the time, but to go into the shop, Peach Guitars is actually by appointment only, which is really good because like if you go to Denmark Street or something in London, it's really busy. So if you go into a guitar shop, there's like 6 people playing at all times. It's very difficult to kind of hear. This was completely different. The shop was enormous and there were only, I think, probably like 5 or 6 people in there at the time that were looking. They've got the main room, which is pretty massive, and then there's lots of smaller rooms that have specific guitars in them. So because I wanted to try out all the 59 reissues, they had a whole room basically just full of Les Pauls and a few other custom shop Gibsons. I went on the website and I picked out 5 or 6 of the 59 reissues that I liked the look of the tops of the most. I'm a little bit fussy when it comes to the tops on Les Pauls. I don't really like the really pronounced sort of pinstripe flame maple, and I tend to like the look of the more understated tops a bit more, which is what this one actually is. It has a bit of a holographic effect. It's kind of difficult to get it on camera, but when you rotate it and look at it from different angles and in different lighting, the figuring on the wood kind of changes, which is really cool. It's got some really nice horizontal figuring that goes this way in the wood grain. There's like some dark streaks, and then there's all of the sideways detail in the wood as well. This particular guitar was actually a hand-picked top. I didn't pick it, it was picked by Peach Guitars when they were probably speccing out this guitar, I imagine. The colour of most 59 reissues tends to be lemon burst, I think, but this one is actually called golden poppy burst, and it's a slightly different look. So like I said, I picked out the ones that I liked. 4 of them were just like this. They're just standard custom shop 59 reissues, and then one of them was a Murphy Lab. Same model and everything, it just has the Murphy Lab treatment, so it's done in the Murphy Lab and it's aged. So we went into this room with all the custom shops, and they'd got all the guitars that I'd picked out on the website on stands ready for me to play, which was a really cool experience. And I basically just went through one by one and tried them all out. The first one that I picked up was the Murphy Lab, and I played it. It sounded great. Whoa! I think that might be the best one. Bloody hell. But weirdly, I actually didn't really like the feel of the cracked lacquer on the neck. But it sounded pretty good, and then I moved on to this one next, and as soon as I plugged it in and just strummed an E chord, I was like, oh, there's something about this one that sounds much better. That one's very nice. It wasn't like a night and day difference, but I just definitely thought this one sounded a little bit better. So I played it for a bit, and then I basically went on to the other ones that were left over, and they all felt pretty much the same and played the same, sounded the same. In my head, I was still trying to convince myself that I liked the Murphy Lab more, and so once I'd finished playing them all through once, I went back and played the Murphy Lab again, and then I plugged this one in and played this one again, and I was like, yeah, there's definitely something about this guitar. It was just a bit more articulate, there was more clarity in the sound, and it just felt like the sound was a bit wider, like it had more in the low end and more in the high end. Maybe like a little bit more sparkly is a good way of describing it. So then I gave it to Harry and had him play both of them a little bit, and I just sort of stood back and listened. And in the end, this is the one that I went for. I had that thing that I normally get for a few days after buying a guitar where it's kind of like sat on the wall and I'm looking at it going, was it really worth it? But within a few days of playing this and recording the first couple of YouTube videos with it, I just fell in love. And it completely reaffirmed my decision that this was the one to go for. Overall, it was just a really cool experience. I mean, all of the guitars in that lineup were exceptional in their own rights. They're all custom shop guitars. And so to be able to play all of those guitars and still come away feeling like this one was the one that stood out above the crowd, I think is a real testament to how exceptional this guitar really is. So there we go, that's all about my new guitar. I'm a very, very happy customer. Shout out to Peach Guitars for an amazing buying experience, particularly Jerry, who was the guy that helped me out. I don't know if they'll ever see this video, but I had an amazing buying experience from them, and I highly recommend if you get the chance to go and visit the shop, because it's really quite cool. So thanks for watching. You will see this guitar in pretty much all of my future videos, I'm sure. See you soon.